All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected and the viewers are smarter than the average bear. Bringing to you a short upload today, guys, because when you watch this, I will be doing something else um, previously scheduled. Let's see if we can get somebody. If I can get something to open up here. Hold on. Oh, I see here. I see what's going on. We're going to start with a post from Jessica Wildfire, who is pretty cool. She does has some interesting posts and some interesting writing if you are not familiar with her. But anyways, this caught my eye because she posted when newspapers owned by billionaires bash remote work, they're really just trying to protect office real estate from a $1 trillion financial crash, which you're probably not going to avoid. If you're if you're playing at home, you're playing economic crash bingo, and you got your cards out at home. Well, it's pretty much bingo on every square because it's going to crash. They spent their 2020 bailout money on office towers that have tanked in value. That's why they're angry. And this is from Sentinel Intelligence. I don't know how long we're going to work on this. I mostly just had something to say about this, but this is from her. The elites' war on remote work has nothing to do with productivity, which we know. Every year, CEOs demand more employees return to the office. Mainstream news outlets run stories calling remote workers lazy. They say it's about productivity. It's not. David Graeber's book on bullshit jobs blew the myth of office productivity wide open several years ago. The elites have been promising us shorter work weeks for more than a century now. We have the technology to make it happen. As we speak, they're bragging about their new AI minions. One of the most recent articles bashing remote work tries to make it sound audacious that remote employees would dare to do household chores or use the bathroom while they're attending otherwise pointless, tedious Zoom meetings. Look, Karen and Dwight don't deserve your full attention if your boss is going to give them 15 minutes to complain about the office furniture, do they? Of course, that article even admits that on-site employees aren't more productive. They just find different ways to goof off, like shopping online or scrolling their phones. The real ire seems to stem from envy that remote workers are capable of meeting their responsibilities while also doing healthy things and taking care of themselves, like taking a walk in the middle of the day, or gasp, even a nap. Ironically, wellness articles have been telling bosses to let their employees take walks or naps in the middle of the day for almost 20 years. Remember the study about children learning better when they go to school later? Anybody remember that? Do children go to school later? No. They prove scientifically that if kids are forced to go to school early, that they don't learn as well. So it's not really about going to school. It's about having a daycare facility to take the kids to while you go to your bullshit job, right? And that's the point of me actually reading this. Now that they're actually doing it, that's bad. Many of us have embraced remote work because it liberates us from distractions and unproductive meetings, often hailed as the cornerstones of office culture. It especially benefits those of us on the spectrum who need a quiet place where we can focus. A recent Stanford study found that remote or hybrid workers are just as productive, more content, and less likely to quit. A review of evidence in The Economist concurs. When remote work hurts productivity, it's because companies don't give their employees the resources they need, and in some cases they put obstacles in their way. They want it, to fail. Many news outlets finally came clean last year and reported that a big chunk of companies might simply be using office return mandates as an excuse to lay off employees and restructure their workforce. So, what's really going on? It's about real estate. There's an office real estate apocalypse unfolding. Corporate landlords currently hold $1.2 trillion in loans on office towers all over the country. In some cases, these are the same jerks who have been buying up all the houses and driving up prices on residential real estate too. When the pandemic hit, these landlords did something even dumber. The Financial Times states they took advantage of nearly free money from the Federal Reserve to buy up trophy office buildings. Now that everyone is embracing remote work, they can't lease that office space to anyone. They have a bunch of zombie office towers. They can't do anything with them. Some of these commercial real estate owners are trying to turn their empty buildings into apartments and restaurants, but it's an expensive overhaul. Not every zombie office building makes a great apartment. They're stuck. Anywhere from 12 to 20% of office space remains vacant. It's worse than the 2008 recession. If these landlords can't find a way to make money off their corporate real estate, soon they're going to start defaulting on their loans. The landlords will go bankrupt, and banks will wind up with giant office towers they can't sell. More than $1 trillion will go poof. According to a piece in Harvard Business Review, the $1 trillion will come due between now and 2026. Good zoinks. That explains why CEOs keep making these edicts, and newspapers keep trying to trash remote work. As the piece explains, the damage could metastasize into a full-blown financial crisis if scores or even hundreds of small and mid-sized commercial banks fail simultaneously. Elites bought up these trophy office towers based on the bad assumption that workers would rush back to offices. They also didn't factor in skyrocketing energy costs or labor shortages, all driven by their own mistakes. You see, millions of workers are dead or disabled by the virus they wanted to ignore. Deep rabbit hole there. Delinquency rates have already started going up. The Federal Reserve's misguided war on inflation has made everything even worse over the last couple of years. Because it wasn't a war on inflation, it was an intentional wrecking of the economy. That was a wrecking ball that they knew it was going to happen. By raising interest rates, they motivated more companies to ditch their office leases. Now commercial real estate is in a death spiral that could tank the economy again. The Fed has started to cut interest rates. According to another recent piece in Fortune, that's not going to stop the crash. The fears went away during the first part of 2024 because of the frenzy over AI investing. Now they're coming back. A piece in Forbes is predicting a major collapse for the same reasons, citing a Columbia University economist who foresees a minimum wipeout of $644 billion and possibly up to $1.5 trillion. Even if it doesn't trigger a total meltdown, it's going to be painful. Rich people hate losing money. There's more bad news. Major cities have spent the last several decades catering to these corporate landlords. Now, their entire downtowns rely on workers for commerce. Ding, 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 ding. We're talking about all those restaurants and coffee shops that serve breakfast and lunch to white-collar workers, and all the bars where people used to go and complain about work before they spent an hour commuting home. These cities also depend on property taxes from overpriced commercial real estate. When nobody wants those buildings, their value plummets. New York alone has lost $453 billion in office real estate. Across the U.S., office buildings have shed anywhere from 40 to 80% of their value. And they're still building more, and we know why. Talk to anyone who works in commercial real estate. Even well into 2024, office buildings in major cities are half empty. So we have a problem. You might wonder why corporations and CEOs care. Well, they don't want the banks and corporate landlords who own these buildings to go bankrupt. That would tank the entire economy, take stocks down along with them. Many of these CEOs, ex-CEOs, and boards of directors have invested in commercial real estate. It's all stuck together. If commercial estate implodes, everyone loses. Once again, the elite have gotten themselves into big trouble. They want the rest of us to bail them out. If they don't want our tax money, they want us to give up our freedom and autonomy. They want us to sacrifice ourselves on the altar of capitalism to protect their fortunes. They don't care how productive we are. They don't care how creative we are. They definitely don't care about our health. They only care about one thing: forcing warm bodies back into office buildings to stop the commercial real estate apocalypse. If they can't fill those zombie towers, they have to trim their budgets with stealth layoffs. That's it. Um, Good article, and I just wanted to point out that the entire system, as she kind of alluded to in the article a little bit, but like the entire system is built on people going back and forth to work, right? The cars, the roads, the tolls, the gas stations along the way, the travel stops along the way, the restaurants along the way, the coffee shops along the way. That everything is built to tax people or to get money from people on their way to work or on their way back home from work, right? Um, and I've talked, a few times about, how possibly we could tackle the climate change issue, right? Or the destruction of the planet issue, or the polluting of the planet issue. And one of the main things you could do is quit going to work and driving your car to work and doing all the things that you have to do on the way to work and on the way back home, right? Remember the pandemic, right? When everybody had to stay home and work from home, and it was kind of cool, and the biosphere started bouncing back, and birds and fish and animals started coming back out again because we weren't out there. We weren't out there attacking the planet en masse. So one of the better things we could do is, if anything, work from home, right? Because that eliminates all kinds of, not just carbon burning, but just resource extraction, resource burning, general destruction and mayhem that the human population brings about upon the planet. So it's not just about real estate, it's about everything else that is around, right? Like if people work from home, if people were allowed to stay home, if people were encouraged to stay home because, well, we don't want to wreck the planet anymore, right? Stop driving your car, leave your car in the driveway, stop going out there and just wrecking everything, right? It would make all those 8-lane highways and freeways kind of useless. Like, why do we have all this infrastructure? Why do we have all this infrastructure that caters to more destruction of the planet? If everybody's just at home, working from home and hanging out and enjoying their home and having a garden and growing their own food. I said the bad. You don't want people just hanging out at home, growing their own food and taking care of themselves and possibly working from home remotely on their computers and not going out and trashing the planet day after day after day. They don't want that either. So they are not really interested in saving the planet, right? They need everybody to keep on doing all these things because otherwise the economy collapses. And we're well down that road anyways, good stuff. A couple other things I want to cover just really, really quickly because I'm going to have to leave. California fails to track its homelessness spending or the results. So on top of the fact that, they've been saying to us that they care about the homeless, and now they say they're just going to clear out the homeless, right? Gavin Newsom has a new mandate. I got a song about it. You want to hear? Here you go. Actually, you can just go to YouTube and listen to my song about make the homeless homeless again. I read the lyrics on the show before, but after a few years of telling you that they cared about the homeless during COVID and they were going to spend billions of dollars housing the homeless, and they're not going to fix the homeless problem because they're not going to fix the real estate problem. They're hand in hand, right? Everybody's being forced out of their houses. I see people literally ending up on the sidewalk with all their stuff, looking like they just moved out of their house onto the sidewalk. It happens daily in Los Angeles. They don't care about this. And on top of that, they're not even auditing the money that they're spending because it's all a money laundering scheme. It's all a money laundering operation. California fails to track its homelessness spending or results, a new audit says. Do we even really need to read this? Exactly how much is California spending on to combat homelessness? And is it working? It turns out no one knows. That's the result of a much anticipated statewide audit released Tuesday, which calls into question the state's ability to track and analyze its spending on homelessness services. The state doesn't have current information on the ongoing costs and results of its homelessness programs because the agency tasked with gathering the data, the California Interagency Council on Homelessness, has analyzed no spending past 2021. And that's it. That's the article. That's all you need to know. Go California. Oh, and other California news. Well, meanwhile, while they're busy losing money that we don't have, right? Apparently we're broke now. Now California's broke, so they're cutting funding for schools. Did you know that? And other things. Did you know that? Apparently we're broke, but we can't track the spending on the homeless. But they're busy doing important things like cracking down on AI deepfakes because they don't like parody commercials of Kamala Harris or other people, and they're afraid of more of these things cropping up. They're not really deepfakes; they're just parodies, and they're funny. Anyways, California laws cracking down on election deepfakes by AI face legal challenges. California now has some of the toughest laws in the United States to crack down on election deepfakes ahead of the 2024 election. They're worried about this. I mean, it's only like a couple of days away. They're gonna turn the tide of the election by passing this law, right? Because man, you never know. Somebody might put a deepfake out there and destroy the whole election. I mean, maybe. I doubt it. California now has some of the toughest laws. The state could be among the first to test out such legislation, which bans the use of AI to create and circulate false images and videos in political ads close to Election Day. But now, 2 of the 3 laws, including one that was designed to curb the practice of the 2024 election, are being challenged in court through a lawsuit filed Tuesday in Sacramento. Those include one that takes effect immediately that allows any individual to sue for damages over election deepfakes, while the other requires large online platforms like X to remove the deceptive material starting next year. Well, in honor of this law, I'm gonna play a commercial that I think they're upset about. This is not really a deepfake. It's just using the image of Kamala Harris and overlaying commentary on top of it. But this is humorous nonetheless. Hold on one second here.
And your Democrat candidate for president? Because Joe Biden finally exposed the senility of the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Anyways, that's pretty funny. It's a joke, okay? That's I don't. That's not what they're talking about AI deepfakes, but they might be trying to encompass everything that might be construed as like a fake video or comedy. I mean, that was just comedy. That's a comedy skit. Ha ha ha. Lastly, what's not very funny is that Trump, we'll be even-handed here, and we'll cover Trump going full. I don't know what this is. MAGA Israel. He wants to help Israel make America Nazi Germany again. This is what Trump wants to do because he loves him some Israel. So let's listen to him talking about how much he loves Israel. And this is a little concerning.
Jacob Hellberg. Jacob, thank you. Thank you, Jacob.
That's not the one we want. Hold on one second. Sorry. That was the wrong video. We're going to find it. We're going to find it. Sorry, y'all. I had the wrong video queued up. And it should just be right here. He's made several speeches. He said we're going to make Israel great again. Hold on. This part of the program is taking a little longer than I wanted it to, but we'll just listen to him say he wants to make Israel great again.
And we're going to make Israel great again.
Hold on one second, guys. I got one more thing to play for you. I mean, this is the usual. The usual rhetoric we hear from pretty much every candidate that, like, let's see, Wiz.
Under my leadership, America will once again stand shoulder to shoulder with our friend and ally, the state of Israel. Right now, all they do is fight the state of Israel. Don't do this, don't do that. I will support the same people that gave us Afghanistan are telling you what to do, by the way, which every one of those generals should have been fired. I knocked out ISIS in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years. I did it in 4 weeks. I had great generals. We have the greatest army in the world, but not the people that are on television. These are people that don't know what the hell they're doing. They should have all been fired. I will support Israel's right to win its war on terror, and it has to win it fast. Will you please win it?
So he wants to help them do the job faster. He wants more. He wants genocide faster. Apparently, there's another speech, and I thought I had it, but I don't have it. But he's basically saying, back in the day, Israel owned most of Congress, and they should rightly so, they should own most of Congress. I wish I could find it, but I just don't have time. I need to end this video. So I don't know. Our choices seem pretty bleak, guys. Maybe the choices are not bleak to you, or maybe the choices are clear to you. I don't know. They're just not clear to me. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Thanks for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you want to support the show, you know how to do it. Lots of links in the description box, etc., etc. Don't know if anybody donated yesterday. I'm not sure, but I had such a busy day yesterday that I uploaded the videos, and that was about the end of it, and end of my concentration on Black Bear News. But today I'm going to be very, very busy. I'm going out in a few minutes. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be going out and not returning home until later tonight. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.